Good morning, everybody. It looks like we're back live, and I tell you what, it's 24 degrees in Jasper, it's 26 degrees in Ellijay, and I don't know what in the world we're going to do because I don't like cold weather. So I don't know if I'm going to leave and go to Florida for about a week. I don't know if I'm going to stay and face this dreaded stuff that's coming in. But you see this snowman? When I started taking down the Christmas stuff, I said, no. I have to leave the snowman because the snowman says cold weather is upon us. And cold weather is supposed to be coming in on Friday, colder weather with wet attached to it. Do y'all know what that usually means? Cold weather with wet attached to it means you're going to get iced in, you're going to get snowed in, or you're going to feel like you have been captured for days, when it'll really be hours, we hope. But we really don't know what we're facing, so get out. You know how we do. I've already checked my toilet paper routine. I went and got a gallon of milk. I got some bread, and I got me some flour to make biscuits with. That's pretty much all I think I need to get through this craziness that we're about to face. But it will start on Friday. When it comes in on Friday, be prepared. The one thing you need to do to prepare is to check on the other people in your community. Do you think of an elderly shut-in who maybe only goes to the grocery store once a month? Do you think about somebody who possibly you could make a big pot of soup and you could share it with them? And if you look in this cookbook, see this cookbook? If you have this cookbook, I have a lot of cold weather recipes in here. And today I'm going to share something with y'all because I'm a little bit still congested, pretty congested, but for the past 10 days or so, I have been a miserable person to be around. I coughed my head off. I have coughed and coughed and coughed. I didn't have a temperature. I was sneezing, runny nose, all that stuff, but I didn't have a temp. So I got to a point after days of couldn't breathe and wheezing and struggling. I said, okay, I'm giving in, I'm going to the doctor. No, I didn't. I went to the trusted cookbooks and I found what always worked when I was a kid. Mama nicknamed it Jewish penicillin because all the little Jewish old ladies that lived in the community where we grew up made this stuff, and in the winter kept a pot of it, and when somebody came in and was hacking or coughing or sniffling, here, let me fix you a cup of this. So today we're going to share that recipe with you. We're going to show the photos of it because the one thing I did a thing about it on Facebook last night. Then I forgot to say, when you take the hen out of the broth, because all you're going to use is the broth to get to feeling better. And today, from Sunday until last night, I've done 3 quarts of this. I have ingested 3 quarts of it. And honestly, that's the only reason I'm here today, because if I had not, I wouldn't have made it because I couldn't talk. I was hacking, coughing, craziness. And my nose was running like crazy, and I didn't go to the doctor. I didn't have to pay for a prescription. I didn't get a shot. I got me 3 quarts of Jewish penicillin. So I'm going to show you how to make it and teach you how to make it. And it's so very, very simple, and it's so very good. Now, some people say, I don't like chicken broth. Well, you can learn to like it. And the way I learned to like it was to adapt the recipe that Mama always did and added lemon and capers to it because that gives it a real fresh flavor, and it's so good. Plus, the lemon gives you vitamin C. So everywhere you go, somebody's a hacking, somebody's a coughing, somebody's sick. Well, today's program is going to show you what happened before I started getting sick. And we're going to show you a little bit of cooking, a little bit of visiting, and a recipe that I got a request for, and I made a quadruple dose of it because normally I make this much and I made this much and it all got gone. But it was a cranberry relish that Miss Golda V. Davis used to make for me every holiday, and that recipe is in this cookbook. I was so intimidated when I first started making it because nobody can make it as good as Golda V. I have not mastered it yet. Mine still isn't as good as Golda V's, but it is good, and everybody loved it over the holiday. And when you think about it, it's full of cranberries that are good for you and have a lot of antioxidant in it. It's full of pecans, which have protein in it. So it's really good for you. And the one thing I have not tried, I'm going to try it next time. I'm going to do a split version of it. I'm going to do one with Splenda, not Splenda, with one with stevia and one with sugar, and see if we can tell the difference, because they swear that stevia, I use stevia all the time in my tea, but they swear that you cannot tell the difference in that and sugar in a recipe. Well, I'm gonna prove right or wrong, and I'm gonna work on that, because all the other ingredients are good for you. It's got pineapple, which everybody knows pineapple is very good for you. So it's got pineapple and pecans, and then the gelatin, and if we use sugar-free Jell-O, maybe I can make the recipe a little bit healthier. So, and because Robert Kennedy says we're gonna do better and we're gonna eat better, I'm all for it. So I think I'm gonna try that. I hope you had a great holiday. There are a lot of people in our communities that had a great holiday and then faced tragedy after the holiday, or something happened during the holiday. I've heard of so many families who struggled through the loss of a loved one, the sudden loss of a loved one, the impending loss because they knew that the person had been sick for a while. It's just been a really, really weird time. And I hope that if something happens to one of your friends, one of your neighbors, that you'll reach out and give them a kind gesture, maybe whatever you can do to help them, because it's going to be hard, because when something happens to you during the holidays, you deal with it every holiday for the rest of your life. And I know that because everybody knows my daughter's birthday was on Christmas Eve. We always celebrate that day as Christmas Eve and as her birthday, and we did that again. And I want to show you a little bit of the food, a little bit of the fellowship, and a little video of Miss Xana. And this is Xana explaining to Evelyn, and when you see this kid, she is growing so fast. She is learning to talk so fast, and she is learning to command the room, and you will see that in this video. So here we go. She's in there. She's talking to Benny. She's not. Nick went outside to get some stuff. Yeah, he went to get some stuff.
What's his name? He's
outside. He's outside.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why is he going outside?
Yeah. What is that? She ran the show. Now we're going to show you some of the food that we cooked, and I tried to go to a totally different menu this time. I didn't do a bunch of sweets, I didn't do a bunch of stuff, but I did things that are healthy. We did green beans, collard greens, corn, sweet potatoes, and I did sweet potatoes in the orange shells like my daughter used to make, that Mama taught us to make. I did things that it had a great memory from my childhood. My grandmother always made amazing green beans. I love English peas. We did a huge vegetable thing. Now this is something, I'm gonna give y'all something to do during the snow, during the ice. This lady, this is Cherokee County News, that happened. She was sentenced over the Christmas holiday. She was sentenced to life, and she's 64 years old, so life will be whatever. But this lady, she was represented by a young man from Pickens County that we all know and love. John Luke Weaver grew up in the community. His mom, Lynn, used to work here at ETC. He did an amazing job of representing this lady. But, hate to say it, he didn't have a chance to get her off, because I want y'all to watch every single bit during the snow and during the ice when you have nothing to do. I want you to watch the Melody Ferris trial, and I want you to watch. This is a woman who is married for 38 years to a very prominent, very successful attorney. She lived the life of luxury. She didn't work. She raised her 4 children. He did everything in his power as she became unhappy and had an affair. He did everything to try to keep her. He did everything to try to make his family stay together, everything. And at the end, I hope when you watch it, you will reach the same conclusion that the jury reached, and the same conclusion I wasn't sure. It took me a while to decide, because I kept watching, and I was watching John Luke, and I was thinking, as her defense attorney, what is he looking for that's going to convince us and the jury that she did not do this? I didn't believe that a 120-pound woman could move a 300-pound man. And until the very, very end, during the closing statements, then I realized she could have done it, but this is the way she did it. I'm not going to tell you the way I think she did it. I do believe that the jury got it right. This is going to be on 48 Hours on CBS. They came down to Cherokee County. They've already interviewed several of the people involved. This will be a special on 48 Hours. I don't know how they can condense this to an hour or 2 hours. This was about a 6-week trial, and it was over and over and over, the same stuff over and over. Every detective, every forensic scientist, everybody had to give all the details of how she pulled this off. And I just couldn't believe it. And yesterday, just yesterday, I finally sat and watched when they said he was shot as somebody was facing him. And that's all I've thought about all night long, is how did this man who was married to this woman for 38 years, and then if she did, and it appears that she did, if she did shoot him within a short range facing him, then at the last moment of his life, did he see the woman that he had loved for 38 years shoot him with a 38 and then throw him in a burn pile? It's a crazy story, and you can't make this stuff up. But it happened in Cherokee County, and actually I've been over to the property, to the home site to see this. And when you see it in person and you realize she had a luxurious life, she had an amazing lifestyle, she had everything, but she wanted another man. Not only one man, but 2 different men were involved, and I felt sorry for the first man who was on the stand, because I don't know how he got involved with her, but they'd known each other for a long, long time. And then the next man nailed her coffin. And I hate to say it, but he made a statement that then he retracted. No. Once somebody hears that statement, you can't retract it. If you retract it, it's still in somebody's mind. And if you say, oh no, that's not the way it happened, no, it sticks in somebody's mind. So the guy, who to me was just absolutely useless, because number one, they hid their affair from a very close friend, that she would say she was going to visit the friend, and instead of visiting the friend, she would be with this gentleman, that's a rough word, but anyway. And all they would do was go to Dalton and rendezvous, and that was it. And so she gave up all her, I couldn't believe it. I absolutely could not believe that she was guilty. And I watched it, and I kept saying, there's no way that little tiny woman moved this 300-pound man to a burn pile. And I just kept watching, and then bingo, John Luke, when you did what you did at the end, it did show me that it was impossible for her to move his body, but it didn't have to happen that way. And so after we found out that she was facing, whoever shot him was facing him, I think I figured it out. So I want y'all to watch it, and it is the Melody Ferris trial. It is, it's all over YouTube. A bunch of Court TV people have filmed it. There's all kinds of stuff, and you can watch everything, but it's all the same interviews, all the same comments, all the same evidence. And after being on a jury in Cherokee County a couple of years ago, year and a half ago, I know that we found this man guilty, and he was guilty because we saw the video of what he did. He couldn't lie out of this because there was a video of what he did. And so it was very easy for us to convict because we saw the video. You can't change what you see is real. And with this one, it was circumstantial evidence. Nobody was sure. They haven't found his cell phone. They haven't found the gun that killed him. But her friend said, this gun is missing from my home, and she was in my home. That was the same kind of gun that shot her husband of 38 years. So the circumstantial evidence, and that's why all through this trial, my mind changed 100 times. I would believe it was this one, I would believe it was that one. I would think it was this one, I would think it was that one. I kept saying that little bitty woman cannot move him. And then I thought her boyfriend came and helped her. Her boyfriend helped. And then I thought, no, he had already nailed her coffin. He didn't care enough about, no, I just couldn't make myself believe he helped. So I just kept watching. And then when John Luke demonstrated in the courtroom that she could not move him, I knew that this is the way she did it. But I want you to watch. And again, it's all over YouTube. You can check it out. It's a Cherokee County story. It happened in a beautiful, affluent community not very far from Ball Ground, Georgia. And it, you know, they ate in the restaurant all the time where we ate. The Bridgemans loved to eat at Cherokee Ranch, and we did too. So we always went there and ate. We enjoyed it. We loved it. I can't even imagine having the life she had and killing her husband of 38 years so she could be with a guy that just took her on rendezvous twice a month to a motel. Are you kidding me? So it makes you look at life and say, you better enjoy every single moment. I don't think that her husband ever saw this happening. So check it out. And again, it is the Melody Ferris trial, and it is called the Burn Pit Murder, and it is crazy. Now this is what I got for Christmas. I got a trip to a place I've looked for years and years and years. And do you see that? That's where my grandparents lived. As I was growing up, that's where my grandparents went to church. That's where my grandmother is buried. It has taken years to find the place. And it was a chance happening when I met this lady at the church where I was putting flowers on my grandmother's grave. And I said, my grandparents used to live here. And she said, oh, I know where they lived. And she took us there. So it was an amazing, wonderful gift to know that I could see the house I remembered as a child, to see that I could see the views that I remembered as a child. But it was very, very hard to relive being that child that my father was 30 miles away from and wouldn't take the time and come and spend time with me. So it was tough. It was a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to seal the deal, and I was going to be happy that I had found my grandparents' home, and I was going to be so excited. And I was wrong. I was wrong, because it really took me down, and it made me very, very sad. And I was surprised at that, because I thought I'm going to be just happy. And it was the exact way I remembered it as a child. And it was honestly, here I go again. It was about 1.5 miles from the cemetery where I had visited. And this is where I remembered going to a place to eat with Granddaddy. And had we made a turn off of the main road in the years that we've been traveling, and I've been looking and looking, trying to find this place, if we'd made one different turn, we were about 500 feet away from a place that I remembered seeing. And I don't know if that's the exact place Granddaddy took us, but it sure looked like it. And I can remember. And to this precious lady who I'm so thankful, she just happened to be there. And she happened to know where my grandparents lived. And so it worked out great. And this is what I did for Christmas, y'all. I'm on a Robert Kennedy kick, and that's carbs, and that's real potatoes. But I told the family, I said, we're not doing a bunch of sweets, we're not doing a bunch of garbage, we usually do, I call it just finger foods and stuff like that. They usually have no good food content to it, but we did green beans, we did sweet potatoes, we did all kinds of things that had good stuff in it. And the one bowl that was completely empty was the collard greens. And I laughed and I said, I love having a family who loves eating vegetables. Country cooking. There's nothing quite like country cooking. And that's what we made Christmas dinner. It was just country cooking. It was dressing and turkey and ham and just lots of things that everybody loved. And that is the highlight of Christmas Day. That precious, precious child that y'all are getting to watch grow up. And she's growing so fast, and she's learning so much. And that's cream corn. Now, that was about enough cream corn for about 25 people, and every bit of that was gone. Everything was gone. It was crazy. They did good. I was proud of my family because everybody ate healthy. We ate corn, we ate green beans, we ate pickle beets. We ate things that are good for you. And we didn't do a bunch of desserts, although, and now that's the thing that my grandma, my mama, my daughter loved to make. And that's called Mama's Sweet Potato Surprise. And that is in my cookbook. And Mama made that all of my life. And Angela loved making those. So I did that in honor of her. And those are my cooked to death green beans because that's the way my granny did it. So you do the things you grew up with, and it makes your table feel happy and just full of love and memories. And that is when I tried to attempt to make Miss Goldavi's cranberry relish. Mine was not as perfect as hers. It wasn't quite as good as hers, but it was mighty good, and a lot of folks enjoyed it, and that's what we did. We tried to have a healthy, vegetarian, lots of vegetables, and then we did have ham and turkey and a big old pan of dressing, but it all went away, and it went away fast, and it was just a good time trying to get through that day that is so hard for me. And there's that cranberry relish, and y'all, if I hadn't gotten a request for it, I wouldn't have made so much, but I made a whole bunch of that. I made a quadruple recipe, so if you haven't tried it, I'm going to actually try the deal without the sugar and do it with the stevia one time, and that's that big Pampered Chef thing. I think it's a half gallon, and that's how much of the cranberry relish I made, and it was just 4 recipes, so it was awesome. If you haven't made it, it is healthy, it is good for you, it has a little bit of sugar in it, but by the time you spread it out, it's not that much sugar. And it's got the pecans, got the pineapple, and got the fresh cranberries that are good for you. So there you go. Now look at that. Are y'all not tickled that Santa brought Xana a cute little hot pink golf cart? How sweet, how sweet, how sweet, how sweet. And she loves ripping around the farm. Now that's one thing. I saw a picture of her, Uncle John had her on the tractor, letting her drive the tractor, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what's next? You know, she'll be driving, there ain't no telling what that child will be driving next. But growing so fast, and what a joy to spend time with her. What a joy to spend time with her. So that is what Christmas is about, those little fellas. And this is the one dessert that we all scarfed down. And I did a survey on Facebook. Do you love fruitcake or do you hate fruitcake? People have 2 different opinions of fruitcake. Uncle John made a fruitcake, and I might say I love fruitcake, and I ate several pieces of fruitcake. I am guilty of having a lot of coffee and several pieces of fruitcake. But after the holidays, I always try to use my grandmother's dishes because it's a time that you're reflecting, you're thinking, you're spending time going back to those happier moments when all the family gathered around. You're spending time going back to where all the family was there, and we're missing so many people. We're missing so many people. So this is when Xana took my keys and said, no, I'll drive. And I said, I don't think so. But she jumped in the driver's seat and started to put the key in. Her mom said, oh, she won't know how to put the key in. I said, just watch. Oh yeah, she knew how to put the key in. And I was like, you have got to be kidding me. You have got to be kidding me. What are we going to do with this child? Because she thought she was going to drive, and she put the key in, and I'm like, ah! So I grabbed it and grabbed it out. She is, she's going to be a force to be reckoned with, and we're going to, I don't know how we're going to do it. I don't know how we're going to do it. We're going to have to chain her down. Okay, this is what I want to teach y'all to do. This is Jewish penicillin, or it's really just a recipe that all grannies did, and my mama gave it that name because she said it sure works as good as penicillin. But it is, you cook a big old hen. I always added a stick of butter to it, and then fresh garlic, a whole onion. I just cut it up, quarter it up, put it in there, and just cook it, cook it, cook it, cook it, cook it. And you just let it simmer and simmer and simmer and simmer. And after the hen is done, it's about an hour and a half or so, because I always buy a big hen. You take the hen out of the broth, and I was telling somebody about it last night, and I forgot to tell them, you take the hen out, and I use half of it to make chicken and dumplings, and half of it to make chicken salad, and then you just use the broth and you put it in jars. I keep it in the refrigerator, and then you can heat it and drink it. And it really has opened me up. It has helped my coughing a lot, and I still am struggling a little bit, but, and then the kick that I added to it that Mama never did, I added fresh lemons and capers because it gave us that extra kick with vitamin C. So again, if you have, a lot of people have asked, and I talked to Kimberly and she said, oh, I love chicken broth. This is a great recipe to have around during the winter months. And as the snow and the ice are coming, Get ready. Go buy you a big old fattening hen. Now this is to our community. You can literally be here today and gone tomorrow. Be grateful, be humble, be appreciative, be kind, be loving. There are families today in our community facing a great, great loss of a young child. Today, as you make your comments, as you think, as you question, as you ask, don't ask why. Just know that God's plan is perfect. And a family is hurting desperately because they lost a young child, and very special young man, and was loved by so many. So just be kind, be gentle with your words, and do all you can to support this family. I know that Kegel Funeral Home is during the funeral service, and they are asking for donations if possible to help this family get through this tragic time. It is something that could happen to any of us. Any of us could be facing something sad today. So know that you are not guaranteed tomorrow. You're not promised the next second, but you are promised an eternity if you know Him. So there you go. We're going to take you now to some music. I have missed this original music by Mr. Ellijay. I think we need to feel good. I have been practicing, and y'all will die laughing. I said I've got to learn to do the Trump routine, and I can't get it down pat, but I got to studying. If we had the music of Southern City Lights, I think I could do the Trump gig and do the Trump dance. So we're going to share some of Dwight's music with you. We're going to do a couple of songs, we're going to do a commercial break, and then I'll be back. It is so good to be back. It's so good to know that we've all survived something that would hurt us. I was thinking about, on the way up here, all the moms that I know who made it through the holidays just like I did, missing a child at the table. I thought about Linda and Shirley, and I thought about Mary Ann, and I thought about Laura, and I just kept thinking and thinking there are so many moms who were like me, and they face that day that as people come in the door, somebody's missing. As you sit and you plan for your gift buying, somebody is missing. As you plan on who you're going to spend the time with, what are you going to do, how are you going to do this, there's somebody missing. And so if you had a table that somebody was missing, thankfully we've all gotten through this, and we will face it again every single holiday. But it is one of those things, God's plan is perfect and we can't question it. We're going to take a commercial break. I'll be back shortly.
Whether you're in the mood for chicken strips, a delicious burger, our classic banana split, or an upside-down thick blizzard treat, we've got you covered. Hot and fresh food every day, every time. And delicious DQ soft serve make the perfect pair at your favorite place. Not fast food, fan food fast. Your Blue Ridge, Ellijay, and Jasper Dairy Queens are your meet, eat, and treat headquarters.
Thank you for choosing DQ. How may I serve you?
Elmer loves to giggle. Elmer's mommy taught him that laughing can help when you have a big feeling, like when you feel happy. Make sure to celebrate when you're happy and laugh it out. Love your mind.
See us anytime you can.
Whether you're swimming in the sea or splashing in the pool, making a masterpiece, or just making memories. Writing a great American novel, or writing your term paper that's due tomorrow. Whatever you do in life, Farmers is here to protect it. For all your insurance needs, call Donald Curtis in Blue Ridge.
How y'all doing out there? Welcome to Ellijay. That's with a J.
About 90 miles north of Atlanta, where the Coosawhatee lay, they come out of the hills to pay their telephone bills in a town called Ellijay. When the mayor drove a shiny 62 Corvette, Slim was in a cruiser with a Cobra jet. What you see is exactly what you get if you come to Ellijay. Hey, Ellijay, a mighty fine place to be. Ellijay, good enough for you and me. Yeah. Apple blossom, baby possum, muscadine wine. Leave all your troubles at the welcome sign. I'm so proud to call a piece of his mind a town called Ellijay.
How you like them apples?
Two rivers run right through the middle of town, and late in the evening when the sun goes down, you can drive through and hear the happy sounds of the folks in Ellijay. Now way back in the summer of '73, the Red Dot parking lot was the place to be. But you could get more than what you bargained for back in those days in Ellijay. Yeah, you could. Ellijay, a mighty fine place to be. Ellijay, good enough for you and me. Yeah. 69 Road Runner, Charger RT, pistol grip 4-speed, 383. Boys, that's the way it all used to be, right here in Ellijay. Ellijay, a mighty fine place to be. Ellijay, don't you want to come and see? Yeah. Trout fishing, skinny dipping, party all night. Praise the Lord, honey, I saw the white picking on a Telecaster Saturday night on the streets of Ellijay. Ellijay, a mighty fine place to be. You and me floating down the Coosawhatee. Yeah. Apple blossom, baby possum, muscadine wine. I'm so proud to call a piece of his mind. Drop all your troubles at the welcome sign. I'll see you in Ellijay.
good, Chief.
I feel good. I got my best jeans on. I feel fine. I'll call my baby on the phone. We're going down to Jamie's and watch them shoot a game of 9. Jackie Dunn will be there in his ragtop 59. My grill is clean. I've got an 8-track in the dash of my machine, and I know every single line. Yeah, Susie's got her dress on, hanging high above her knees. And when she smiles for the Nikon, you know it's such a sight to see. It's Friday night in the southern city lights. Wheels will turn and the rubber's gonna burn. The glass packs are racking, the power play is screaming loud. We'll cruise the red dot parking lot and see who all is in the crowd. 'Cause I feel good, I got my best jeans on, it's all fine. I'll call my baby on the phone. We're going down to Jamie's and watch them shoot a game of 9. Jackie Dunn will be there, and you better not step out of line.
Hey, everybody who knows us knows that we are a praying community. And this today, we got a special prayer request. He would slap me for doing this, but we're going to do it anyway. Our friend Sanford Fountain needs your prayers. He's having a little procedure done. He's having a checkup at Piedmont, Atlanta today, and we want to pray for him. You know him, you love him. You know how many of y'all, he has been there for you when you needed a little bit of support, needed a little bit of a shoulder to cry on, needed a little bit of help. So today, add Sanford Fountain to your prayer list. Now he's going to probably call me and, you don't need to do that, I'll be fine. He has that I'll be fine attitude because he knows he's a winner either way. We just hope that everything that goes on with him is going to be great. He has had several issues with his heart in the past, and he depends on Piedmont, Atlanta, and he is there today. So please say a prayer for our dear friend. I know y'all know him, I know you love him, and I know that you know that prayers are answered. Now speaking of prayers, when I was talking about the moms who had holidays without their children, I thought about a young mom. Her name is Kimberly, and she lost her young son who loved sports, loved ball, loved playing, loved living life, and cancer took him away very young. She is working on she does this year after year after year, a blood drive, and I was on the phone with her yesterday, And I told her, I said, it's so funny, but no matter what Angela was going through, she always gave blood. And she would encourage me to give blood because she said, Mom, she said, we have that rare kind that everybody, you know, not everybody has, not everybody knows how to get it. We have Rh negative blood. So if you have not given blood in the past, think about today. You can change a life. You can change a family. You can be that person who supports that young child who is battling cancer and needs those transfusions. You can be the person who makes a difference that somebody went through life-saving surgery and needed more blood than they thought. So this is going to happen in April, and Kimberly's going to come and be with me one day, and we're going to talk about what it's like to remember her young son who lost his battle with cancer. But he will never be forgotten because his mom continues to carry on in his honor a way of giving back to the community. And that's a way we can all do it. It doesn't cost us anything. It's a very minimal amount of pain because they stick you and then they draw your blood and it's over with. But Angela was very proud of all the little pins that she got for all the blood that she donated. So it's important when you're sitting back and saying, how can I make a difference? How can I be a support system in my community? That's one way you can always be a support system. You can give your blood. So it doesn't cost you anything, not hard to do. Maybe you can get together with friends and neighbors and go as a team, which would be really, really cool. And when Kimberly comes on, we're going to talk about what you can do to continue to give in her young son's honor. So we're going to go now to some more music by Mr. Ellijay. We're doing this because he's promised he's bringing new music. And y'all, I'm a whole lot better than I was. I'm a whole lot better than I was. I haven't choked up yet, too bad. So I'm thankful to be here today. It has been a tough couple of weeks because I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to end up in the hospital. I'm going to end up with pneumonia. I'm going to end up sicker than a dog. And then I did that amazing soup. And so I'm kind of tickled that it worked. But we're going to go now to some music, some good local music, original music by your friend, your special crazy buddy, Mr. Ellijay.
I'm looking down from a hilltop at the lights of my hometown. This place is all so different now. They've closed the pool room down. That old wooden bridge I fished from is replaced with man-made stone. The swimming pool in our old school, like you, they both are gone. Looking back on all the summers since 1969, long ago and far away, when I thought you were mine. For better or worse, thick or thin, so much has changed since then. My crazy heart spins round and round when I dream of way back when the rock and roll would play in that old silver Chevrolet, and AM rock was all we knew back then. Big brown eyes and short Levi's, I remember you, but it's all over now, baby blue. gently from the mountains to the sea. And the track that took my dad to war in 1943 still stretches by the depot like so many years before. But like you, the train's on a different track. It don't come here no more. And the rock and roll would play in that old silver Chevrolet. And AM rock was all we knew back then. Big brown eyes and short Levi's, I remember you. But it's all over now, baby blue. Red wall tires, western flies, and 8-track Suzuki. It's all over now, baby blue. Misty mountain, rainbow sky, a faraway look in your eye. Tell me, have you had enough? Traffic jams and city stuff. Don't you think it's time to go where black bears climb and waters flow? Hummingbirds out on the deck, your feet propped up, and what the heck? You'll love how we live here in these mountains. Everything is gonna be alright. And we all wave hello here in these mountains. Life is good, we sleep well at night. It's alright, the mountain life. So plan a trip to Ellijay and see the bright red Georgia clay. From Notley down to Carter's Lake, all the memories to make. So much here for all to see, a land that is so dear to me. Welcome home to all your dreams, hot rod Fords and crystal streams. Now you'll love how we live here in these mountains. Everything is gonna be alright. We all wave hello here in these mountains. Life is good.
Okay, that's my Happy New Year gift to y'all. You got 4 of those original songs by Mr. Ellijay, all 4 of them written right here in Ellijay, Georgia. All 4 of them talking about the place that we dearly love. Now, let's go back to the Melody Ferris trial. I want to give you enough information that during this ice and snow and misery cold, you can sit and do like I did. While I was hacking and coughing and feeling really puny and poorly, I sat and watched over and over and over. And I came to my own conclusions. Now, knowing the young attorney who was part of the team representing her defense, I thought about, now that is a picture of Gary Wayne Ferris and the wife that he was married to for 38 years. There were so many different television venues, television people who came to record this event that happened in Cherokee County, Georgia, happened just a few miles from where we live, happened in a time that it looked like their life was amazing. And then for this to happen, and yesterday when I found out that he took the bullet with somebody, a direct shot at him as they faced him, I had to kind of jump back and say, okay, what were his last thoughts of his life, his last thoughts as he stared at the person who possibly he had been married to and loved for 38 years, according to the jury. And I do believe the jury got it right. The jury got it right because there were other people involved who kind of nailed her coffin. And that might have been one of her boyfriends, and it might have been her friend who she had kind of taken advantage of by saying that she was there to help her, when in truth she might have been there to visit Rusty. So it all came together, and I kept changing my opinion. So if you have not watched this trial, and again, it is in Cherokee County, she was just sentenced to life, and she is now in Arendelle Prison up in North Georgia, and where she will spend the rest of her life. She had an amazing life. She lived on a beautiful, as her daughter called it, it was a petting zoo, and it was just a petting farm, and you know, they didn't produce any animals that made money. They didn't do anything that grew crops. They just enjoyed the life on this acreage and this beautiful home. And as I watched it, I thought, how would you give up all of that for the man you gave it up for? How could you do that? How could you possibly? But after I heard yesterday that he did take the bullet, a direct shot, as somebody was looking at him, they didn't shoot him in the back and then throw him in the burn pile. They looked at him face to face, and I thought, how do you do that? I've been so angry and so hurt and so mad, but I could never do that. And I thought, how does that work? So I want y'all to watch it, and I want you to, I'm going to do a little Facebook thing, and I want your opinion of, after you watch this and after you listen to the testimonies, do you feel like the jury got it right? Because I do. I believe the jury got it right. I think that John Luke Weaver, as her defense attorney, he did a good job. But he brought out the one question I had. There's no way that 120-pound woman could move a 300-pound man from the house to the burn pit. There's no way she could have done that. And I kept saying, did she do it with her boyfriend's help? Did she do it? Somebody had to help her. Did she put him on a tractor? No, there was no evidence of that. Did she put him in the side-by-side? There was no evidence of that, because there were no tire marks. So then the only answer that I could come up with is probably the answer you'll come up with after you watch all of this. I'm not going to tell you what I think, but later I will. 48 Hours is filming it, and they have the rights to the first viewing of it, and it will be on CBS. So you will get to see, and you will get to voice your opinion. It's going to be very strange to me that anybody could condense this trial to as short as it's going to be. I don't remember if they're for 60 minutes or if they're a 2-hour program. But when you think about it, it's hours and hours of testimony. And honestly, there were some times I would be like, oh my gosh, I've heard that over and over and over. But you do hear the same testimony over and over from different people. You hear about their lifestyle. You hear about, she had everything. She had everything. She didn't work. Her husband took care of her. She took $50,000 out of the checking account that he didn't know she was going to do, and he did, you know, he put up with a lot of stuff, and so you have to come to the conclusion he loved her. He loved her. He loved her unconditionally. They didn't have a perfect life. Nothing about their life was perfect, but when you think about 38 years. And I think the one thing that got me was when she was being talked to and interrogated at the Free Home Police Precinct, and she had no emotion. If my husband of 38 years had just been found burned to death, I would have been a wreck. I could never have done, she was almost methodical and like she planned all this. And it was very, very different. And I kept changing my opinion. So I want you to watch it, and I want you to tell me, do you agree with me? Do you agree that this tiny 120-pound woman couldn't move him from the house to the burn pile? Then you'll figure out how I think she did it. I don't know if we'll ever really know how she did it. And I've said, the one thing that I love, the judge told the jury that she could never benefit from this as a movie, as a book, as anything. Now, her children may be able to benefit from it. Her children lost their father because their mother, supposedly, according to the jury, did this. So I want you to watch, and I want you to tell me, did you ever see this coming? Did you ever see what I think happened at the end to Gary Wayne Ferris? Tomorrow's the day that we're going to visit with Paul Kiker. I'm excited because the inauguration is coming up. And tomorrow, Paul gets his Trump socks. And we're going to be doing the Trump dance all around the world very soon because the Trump inauguration is going to be a big to-do. A lot of bad things happened over the holidays. We know that there were innocent people killed in New Orleans. We know that there was a bomb and a veteran who did a bomb in Las Vegas. We know that there's so many bad things happening around us, but there's still so much good going on. And so we have to pray, we have to stay in faith that this is all going to come together, and 2025 is going to be the most amazing year ever. Let's stay positive, let's stay focused, and let's say, bring it on 2025. If we survive the last 4 years, we are going to be gloriously happy in the next 4 years. So we'll see you again soon, right here on ETC. But don't forget, you can go to our YouTube and you can go back to programs that are as old as 15 years old, because the guys have been posting some, and you will get to see yourself, your families, and a lot of sweet memories right here at ETC. Bye, y'all.